Hi, this is Pat Lynch at Women's Radio. I'm so glad to have you here today with Christine Baumgartner and myself. And today we are going to be talking about what, Christine?
Stop doing too much.
Stop doing, and it couldn't, this conversation couldn't happen at a better time.
I thought,
We're just operating to the max and doing way too much. And I told her that I finally got to take a nap on Sunday, a 2-hour nap. Can you believe? And so the world is looking a lot better now.
oh, Pat, enough sleep. Enough sleep is like an elixir.
It is. It
I mean,
is.
really, if they could bottle it, they'd be
I just
selling
take
it
the
on the street.
bottle.
They'd be selling it on the street.
So right. Well,
How amazing it feels when you've had enough sleep.
Well, everybody says that, but so few people get to do it, right?
True.
And that's why we're having this conversation.
This very timely conversation, as we both discussed. Very timely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many ways, since we're talking to women, that we do too much. And one of the things that I can laugh at, because I'm a woman and I've done this in the past, is we can brag about how long we can wait to pee.
Isn't it true?
It's the
I would
truth.
never have said that out loud, but since you said it, it is so true.
If you leave it up to me, you know I will say it out loud. And I have to tell you, men go, what? You do what and why? Because they don't. They just don't.
That gotta go.
They go when they need to go. They have no understanding about why you would wait. And our understanding is, but there's these 3 things. I'm just going to do these 3 more things because they cannot wait for me to pee. No matter, I mean, and that, the thing is too, I'm going to also say out loud, often getting older, men tend to have much harder trouble peeing more often and not peeing enough. And we generally, as women, I'm sure there are some, don't have that problem. So if we would just go, it's not going to, I mean, yeah, we have to take more clothes off. That's the thing. But it's not that. I've asked women, why do you wait? Because I have to do these 3 things. I have to just do these. And I am guilty. I know it. I know it. So if we just take that as the little microcosm and change it into the whole macro of our lives, we're always having to do 3 more things. 3 more things, just 3 more things.
I am clear. I was born like that. If no matter what I was doing, couldn't you do one more thing? Couldn't you get one more piece of homework done? Couldn't you get one more chore done? Couldn't you do this? Couldn't you? And I do it to myself. I don't know if I was taught to do that, or I just somehow came thinking that, life is short and I better cram as much in as I possibly could. I think that's it.
I think you have very much a zest for life. I have known that the whole time I've known you, even though it's been kind of short, I have noticed that a lot. So one of the ways that we're encouraged to do that, besides life is short and I want to get more stuff crammed in, is one of our gifts, and can be a detriment, is our diffuse awareness as women. So you think back to cave times, and we had to pay attention to lots of things all at the same time. If we were out gathering, there were 4 kinds of mushrooms. There was the kind with the purple spots, that was food. And then there was a kind that looked really similar, and it even had purple spots, but underneath it, it had green spots, and that was medicine. And then there was kind that had purple and green spots, but then there was a brown part down at the bottom. That meant it was poison, but you could cook the poison out of it. And then there was a 4th kind that was poison. There was nothing you could do, but you should never eat it.
How did you learn that?
In Clan of the Cave Bear.
Oh my goodness. Oh
yes.
My goodness.
So if you think this is just mushrooms, we're gathering for our family, we have to be very careful, and we have to pass it along to the other people in our group, to the girls growing up, so that we separate the food from the medicine, from the poison, because it's to keep us alive. It's self-preservation. So it's a really good reason. It's one of the reasons women talk about so many details in our life, Makes
Yes,
men a
you're
little
right.
crazy. They're always going, get to the point, get to the point. We like including the details because back in our lizard brain, it kept us and our family alive.
Because those dots and those colors meant something.
For sure. Life or death,
Right,
or preventing death with the medicine.
right,
And you think of all the things we were gathering that weren't even mushrooms, and everything had to have details. Everything was a certain time of year. Everything had to be stored a different way, cooked a different way, eaten a different way. I mean, who are the people that ate the food in the beginning that you look at now and go, yeah, it seems like a fine thing now, but who, weird stuff like artichokes. Who knew what an artichoke was and how to cook it? So the other thing that's a challenge for us is women in general can, and certainly when we go back to the Myers-Briggs that we were talking about a
yes,
few weeks ago,
and I hope we go
us,
back to the Myers-Briggs and the disc
yes,
thing
we'll
when
put
we're
a link in for that, because us people that are high in our J's, we notice all the details in our world all the time. My husband used to tease that if he got up to go to the bathroom, he'd come back and all the pillows would be straight. And I wasn't quite that bad, but I had to this day, I still straighten all the pillows on my couch before I go to bed. I can't go to bed with this pillows a mess. They talk to me.
Oh
They're
my
in my head. So I admit this about me. So having so many details and trying to keep everything straight and neat and tidy is a lot on our brains. So then if we have a job, we need to get this job done. There's all these details that can be very distracting around getting this job done.
right,
So if we look at the difference with men, they were developed back in the cave time to be very single focused. They knew their job was to bring home food and to keep his family alive. So he had to be prepared at any moment to rush out with a big club and kill something so that it didn't kill his family, and to bring home food, which is why he never waits to pee, because you can't have to pee and go kill a dinosaur or
right. You
wrestle
have to
with a
be ready
saber.
to go kill the dinosaur.
You have to have eaten and slept and peed. So because we're still busy doing all of our details, and nobody's better or worse, we just do this thing so differently. We put off peeing, we put off eating, we put off sleeping. You were I were
Yes,
talking about how
yes, we do.
getting a good night's sleep would be a luxury, where men, they just sit down and fall asleep when they're tired. When they're
Yes, sit
tired,
right on the couch or the chair or at a table. They just
and if there's dishes in the sink,
too
we
bad.
generally can't do that. Women that have a lot of P rather than the J, if they're really far on the P, they can let stuff go. They really can. They're in a dreaming state. They're thinking about the big picture of stuff, and they can even just lay back and think more about that. They're not as concerned about the details. But us J people, the details are driving us nuts. So the thing that's even more difficult for people, women in the world, is in the workplace, because we talk a lot about that here. That's one of our main focuses. That makes women a challenge at work, and it's a challenge for men to watch it, is we have a job, we have a project, we're going to go work on it, and we're like, oh, but this person over here needs some help. Or I don't make light of this because it's me. I need to straighten this drawer. This drawer has to be straight, or my desk has to be straight before I can work on it. So the time is going by allotted for this project, and we're doing other things to give ourselves peace of mind, to make things feel
Exactly.
settled, that we're going to have all the tools we want for this thing. But if we haven't allowed the time for that, if we now said in this proposal, this project's going to take,
We
what
just
did you,
keep going, right?
we will keep doing this thing over here and not focusing on this, which then if your direct report is a man or a woman very high in her masculinity, they're going to go, what have you been doing all day? Why isn't this done?
Right,
You made a commitment, you'd have this done by the end of the day.
right,
And they're not going to care that I had to straighten the desk to feel prepared, or wow, this other person needed help with their project, especially if it didn't have anything to do with you. That'll really make your boss crazy.
right, right.
You got off this project to go help somebody else
Woo.
because
I
you
would.
felt sorry for them, or you could do it half quick as half the time that they're taking, but you're not getting your job done, that this is the
Right.
thing you're paying for, that you made a commitment for. So what I had to learn, because I am so that, is to have a conversation. Okay, I know that I need to do this, but I need to do this first. So I need an extra like half an hour tacked on in the beginning because I'm going to need this to do. And then if I needed to go do something with somebody else, especially if it had to do with my project, I needed to go back to the person that I'm reporting to saying there's going to be more slip because this person wasn't quite done and I'm going to go help them and it'll be fine. And we'll just be an extra half hour. Will that still be okay with you? We have trouble doing that. We want to
Right.
just keep it all to us and we want to make sure that we don't get
And we don't want
disapproved
to look
of.
like we can't handle it and
I
that kind of thing.
know.
Yeah.
And yet, oh, it took me so long to learn this. You think you'd learn it the first 2 times, but I did not. Where it came back and bit me in the butt because they're like, you didn't do your job and you didn't tell me. So I was still counting on it. So I had to, and so then we have to stop and go tell them. It's sort of like stopping and peeing. It's really a conundrum inside of our two X chromosomes. So
Yes, yes.
figuring out self-preservation, self-preservation, what is going to keep you feeling the most productive, the most supported, the most committed to your job. And so this is the doing too much part where you need to stay focused on this and say, no, thank you to that. No, thank you to that. No, thank you to that. And if you really have to do this thing, then you need to fill it in with this person who is expecting you to finish this thing so they can do their thing. The minute I finally did that, Pat, I was terrified. I was so terrified. I just knew they were going to fire me. They went, okay, thanks for letting me know. And
Oh.
nothing horrible happened. I just knew something horrible was going to happen.
People
They,
really kind of want to be let in on the
yes,
conversation, so to speak. They just
yes,
want to be prepared too. So it is, going back to what the way you started, like if you're this in the disc program, et cetera. But I think that if people would take a little more time and read through these things and understand themselves and the people that they in their families or in their jobs, that we would all do a better job. And
my battle cry all the time, whether I'm coaching people in their romantic life, in their personal life, in their business life, is first, you need to know yourself. Who are you? What makes you tick? What makes you feel cared about? What helps you feel rested? What helps you feel productive? What helps you feel
right.
important? Figure it out.
What
What do
makes you feel
people even,
happy?
what makes you happy?
I think that that's such an important issue too. And I know that over the past year and a half, I have really focused on that issue. What really makes you happy? And that everything comes out of this feeling of expansiveness that you get when you are in a happy state, and this feeling that I'm okay and everybody's okay. And when you're in that state, the whole world comes to you then. And then you don't have to work so hard, actually. So
Yep.
maybe the 2 hour nap on Sunday isn't really required. Maybe it's more being happy and getting in a good state.
Probably because we aren't overdoing so much.
Right.
And then we
And if
even,
you know yourself, you'll just have to come to grips with those things on the inside. You have to say, well, I will go talk with so and so and let them know. Because if I don't do that, I won't be as productive. But maybe it's not important to them as long as they have something in their hot little hands at the end of the day.
and,
I need to communicate
yeah,
though to make sure I know.
and let them make that decision.
Right, right.
Hmm? If it's going to slip, they can now make their own plans. Yeah. And it helps people feel more in partnership with you. You feel more,
Yes,
I felt more in partnership with them. The
yes.
other thing is, if I took a nap for 2 hours on a Sunday, I never felt like I needed to apologize again because I felt like I had gotten everything done that I could get done, that I needed to get done, and everything else was going to be okay enough. Because also the hard thing is if you add into that perfectionism, we can never achieve everything all the time. I mean, I finally said this to somebody one day. They said, I just hate doing laundry. and I know some people hate doing laundry for a bunch of other reasons, but this person hated doing laundry because it was never all done. Because even though they'd washed everything in the house, all those people, including her, were in dirty clothes. And I said, well, now that you've said that out loud, because it took her a while to get there, we were having quite a long conversation about her perfectionism. She said, I think I really need to give myself a break about that. I said, yeah.
No, I get to a place. There must be some part of me that has that J or something.
Oh,
I'm not sure, but I find when I'm washing, I think, well, I want to get as much done as I can in one wash. And I said, yeah, well, that would include the clothes you're wearing now. Well, I'm not letting those go. I'm sorry. So it'll just have to wait till the next time. I mean, I have these conversations on the inside. If anybody heard that, they think, oh, well, write her out. She's clearly a case.
I think it's very adult. And that's when you go, oh, so in order for me to be okay with doing this much laundry now, I've let it go. I've had the conversation where if you don't have the conversation, you have this. I have a girlfriend that calls it
Thanks.
ragey. Yes, you have angst, you have agita inside of you, and you don't address it. And then it just
Yes,
stays. Where if you
right.
go, oh, I'm having it because everything's not done. Well, is that okay if not? I used to believe that I had to vacuum my whole house.
Yes,
You're not at all. Do you
yes.
know what I've learned? I can vacuum one room.
I know you have to like train yourself kind of to give yourself a break and to let yourself be okay doing less. And that's the whole point of this conversation, right?
Yeah. Be reasonable. Be reasonable with yourself. Be
Yes,
so
yes,
much more kind, have grace. How much energy do I really have today? What really has to get done?
right,
And
right.
I'm going to make time to sit and smell the flowers or watch a silly show or pee or take a nap. And I've gotten to where I can pretty much schedule it in now. And I've got clients that are scheduling it in. They're
Right.
actually putting it on their calendar. So you stop feeling guilty because guilt makes you even more exhausted.
So
What
let
do
me
you,
ask you a question. So do you give yourself a little break in between your clients and so forth?
it's my bribe.
It's your
I
right.
mark it in my calendar because I put in all my personal things and then my clients have total access to my calendar.
Oh,
So
wow.
I've learned,
You put P down.
yes, go pee. I do. I have to pee between clients and get more water.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what I've learned is to put a break so that they cannot schedule back because they were scheduling back to back. There'd be one ending, there'd be one beginning. And I went like, I have control over this. And so 15 minutes. So now I have people sometimes, they start at the hour and the next person starts at the quarter time. So I have a chance to go get up from my chair, walk around, go to the bathroom, get some more water, go pet my cat. I mean, it's really been a whole new world.
Talking about giving ourselves a break, I think when we do give ourselves a break, then we're more willing to give other people a break too. We're not as hard on other people. Do you find that to be true?
That
Yeah,
is the best gift that you just brought up. We're so much more patient and kind with ourselves, and it's amazing how much more patient and kind we can be with other people.
really. I
Yeah.
think so. I think so. I just think how much further ahead we might have been had we had all this understanding when we were younger. I mean,
I know.
I have always been driven. I drive myself. I think I drive other people crazy. I'm sure I do. And uh, and and I don't mean to drive other people crazy. I mean, I don't think I really do it on purpose, but I know
Mm.
that it is a product of how I drive myself.
So yeah, the more grace we give ourselves, the more grace we'll give other people. The more patient we're with ourselves, the more patience we'll have
Right.
with other people. So
Well,
I'll be surprised if you don't get lots and lots of comments about this, because I think this just speaks to the heart of who we are as two X chromosomes. We just are into doing too much most of the time.
well,
And
I
never,
really want to hear from the men who are listening as well. How do they feel? Do they have to give themselves grace? Do they talk like that even?
yeah,
Do
I'd
they?
be happy to talk about what I've heard men say. And also on another subject we could talk about is how do you ask for help? Because that's part of the
Oh, yes.
remedy.
Oh, that is so hard.
It's part
That
of
is
the
so hard.
remedy. Yeah.
And
So we're
and
going to talk about that.
okay, great. So that's next time.
Yes, we'll talk about how to
And
ask for help.
asking for help. Got
Yeah,
it. This has been so great. Thank you so much,
you're
Christine.
welcome. It's good,
Okay.
whatever we're going to talk about keeps showing up in our lives. I think we need to
Oh,
talk.
it does, doesn't
We're going to
it?
talk about even more fun, exciting things, so that'll show up even more instead
I
of me being a
know.
nap.
I know, and nobody even knows about them yet. Wait. I'll probably just go on and on about all the fun things that are going on. We didn't sign up to hear you talk about all that. We want to, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay,
Well,
we'll see
Christine,
you.
have a great week. We'll see you
You too.
again. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye for now.
Bye bye.